Good morning, Marion County students. It's Mrs. Suter again, and I'm back to do a lesson with you on clouds. Today, we're going to be doing becoming a citizen scientist. And what that means is you're going to be going out and making an observation about what the clouds are like, and then recording that in a website or in a app called the Globe Explorer. Globe Explorer is a government site, and we will be recording and taking pictures and putting the pictures of the clouds in that so that NASA can tell, or NOAA can tell, what kind of clouds we see. And this actually helps scientists because they're seeing satellite images of what the clouds look like from above. And it's helpful for them to know what do the clouds look like from below and what kind of weather are we seeing. So they put both the satellite pictures plus the pictures that we take together, and then they can have some better weather forecasting. So it's actually doing real science with real scientists. So we want to make sure that our observations are good observations. And so we're going to start off learning a little bit about the different types of clouds, why clouds are formed, and what kinds of clouds there are. I will be showing you a couple little crafty things that you can, science crafts you can do also, and then I'm going to be asking you to make a cloud observation online. So we're going to start off with a book, and I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see the book that we're going to be looking at. So we're going to go to this little book here. Says, do you know the clouds have names? Now, I will tell you that I have linked this book in my presentation, in my Nearpod presentation, and you can download it for free and print it, or you can just look at it online, but the pictures are gorgeous. So I thought I would read the book to you, and as I'm reading the book, you can look at the pictures. So, do you know the clouds have names? And it's by, the text is by Becca Hathaway, Carrie Zarlingo, and Peggy Lamont. And the illustrations are by Lisa Gardner. So we're going to start off, and here's the first page. Do you know the kids have names like Simon, Anita, or Dennis? Do you know the dogs have names like Milo, Murphy, or Tank? Do you know the flowers have names like Marigold, Daisy, or Tulip? Well, clouds have names too. Some cloud names are cirrus, it's right here, cumulus, and stratus. Now, we use the word names and groups kind of as synonyms. So we also would say that these are groups, okay? Do you know the clouds get their names from their shape? How high they are in the sky, and if they produce precipitation. On different days and in different places, when you look up in the sky, you might see different types of clouds. Let's get started and learn the names of the different types of clouds you might see the next time you go outside. In this book, we will use some words we already know to help us learn the names and types of clouds. So you can see this is what we call a contrail. This is like what comes off of a jet as it flies. And then we have our cirrus, stratus, and cumulus clouds. So we're going to be using that to help us out. And there's all kinds of information on the bottom of these pages. Okay, here's some pictures. Love these pictures. Do you know that some clouds are low in the sky? They are found where blimps, helicopters, and some small planes fly. Other clouds are high in the sky, as high as jet planes fly. One type of low cloud looks like a big puffy cotton ball, or looks like cauliflower. This is a cumulus cloud. It's fun to lie on the ground and look up at cumulus clouds to see what happens when you find them. You should try it sometime. So you can see they kind of look like they have a flat bottom, and then they're poofy on the top, right here. And sometimes the bottoms look a little darker, and then they're poofier. These are cumulus clouds. Okay. Do you know what kind of clouds look like a gray blanket covering the sky? These are stratus clouds, and they are found low in the sky. Sometimes you can almost see the sun shining through stratus clouds. So think about a blanket covering. So these are very low, almost like fog. Fog is stratus cloud, and these are a little higher up. Those are our stratus clouds. Okay. Do you know what kind of cloud looks soft like cotton candy or pillow stuffing? It is a stratocumulus cloud. These are low, gray, puffy clouds that can cover lots of the sky. So you can see here, they have that flat bottom and then they're real poofy. They cover the whole lot of the sky. You can see the poof and the flat bottom. So these are our stratocumulus clouds. Now, if you can't remember that, remember the words are right down here to help you. Okay. Do you know that some clouds are higher in the sky? One of the types of clouds you can see at middle altitudes are altostratus clouds. These clouds look smooth and uniform, like a blank wall or the frosting on a cake. So you can see they're higher up or middle. We say middle because it's alto means middle. Stratus covering the sky. Here we get some good altostratus clouds. Okay, all right. All right, do you know which clouds look like fish scales or a flock of sheep? These are altocumulus clouds, and they are puffy and patchy. They are the other type of middle level cloud, and they might trick you because they look similar to cumulus clouds, but they are further away, so they look smaller. You can see that they're smaller, and I will actually show you a way to tell the difference between the cumulus clouds and how high they are up in the rest of the presentation here. Okay. Now, I love these because they are such pretty pictures. Do you know what kind of clouds are higher than any other type? Cirrus clouds are way up high. They are feathery, like the soft downy feathers a baby chicks have, or they look like horsetails floating in the sky. You can see this looks kind of like a horsetail right there. And these are our cirrus clouds. Do you know what type of cloud looks like a thin veil that covers most of the sky? This is a cirrostratus cloud, and it is one of the two other types of high cirrus clouds. You usually can see the sun or the moon through them. Sometimes there appears to be a big halo or circle around the sun through a cirrostratus cloud. You see, this is what they talk about when they talk about the halo. You see that? Okay. And again, lots of information here. Do you know the name of high clouds that look like ripples on the water? They are cirrocumulus clouds. They often have a ripple pattern like a lake or a bay has on a windy day, or like the pattern of fish scales. Kind of look like they're fish scales. There you can see the ripples on those. Do you know that when airplanes fly, they often leave behind a trail of moisture? This is called a contrail. Some contrails stay in the sky for a long time after the plane is gone. These contrails can become human-made cirrus clouds. Remember, cirrus clouds, here's a hint, they are high in the sky and look like wispy horsetails. So here, the plane just flew by and made a contrail. A few minutes, this is that same contrail, a few minutes older, it's spreading out. And this contrail is older of the three, and it is becoming a cirrus cloud. It's really spread out. So this is called a persistent spreading contrail, and these can turn into cirrus clouds. Contrails that stay in the sky for a long time are called persistent. Some contrails don't stay in the sky very long at all, and they're called short-lived. So you're going to go see them, and you go outside 10 minutes later, and they are gone. Okay? But wait a minute, we are not done yet. We have gone over the names of clouds from low to high. What are we missing? Here's a hint. Do you know what some clouds make? Do you know that some clouds make different types of precipitation like rain and snow? One of these types of cloud is called a nimbostratus. This cloud is like a big blanket that covers the sky and has steady rain falling from it for a long time. When rain falls from a nimbostratus cloud, it goes on, and you'll need your raincoat if you go outside. Sometimes the cloud covers the whole sky, and you can't see any edges. sometimes you can't even see the cloud because it is raining or snowing really hard. Do you know that the other type of rain cloud can be very noisy? Cumulonimbus clouds are big, billowing clouds that can be darker at the bottom and white and fluffy at the top. Sometimes they produce thunder and lightning. They are called thunderheads. These clouds can also produce tornadoes and hail. You can see the rain coming through here. The next time you go outside, take a look at the sky. Do you see clouds? What types of clouds do you see? Now you know that those clouds have names. So again, down here below, they're going to show you different kinds of clouds and how high up they are and what their names are. But I do think that the presentation I'm going to show you here in a little bit, in a few minutes, is going to make that clear. But if you want to come back in and look at this book, you can download it. You can print your own copy. That's what I did. And you can use these pictures to help you when you make your cloud observation. I'm also going to give you some more pictures and things that will help you do your cloud observation in my presentation. So let's go back. Now, we did look at the book already, which I have linked right here. So you can see that you can print off the book right here. You can do a PDF, an ebook, or you can print it on demand paperback, which is what I did. I just had it printed. Down here are some of the activities that I'm going to be talking about today and that you can go through also. Okay. This is the Globe website, which we'll get onto here in a little bit. Okay. Now, clouds are created by this cycle here. We have the sun radiating heat. So it's heating up the ground. Now, a lot of times you've probably heard that cloud that is cooler higher in the atmosphere. Well, the reason that we say that isn't actually because the clouds don't actually form because it's cooler up there. What actually happens is the sun's radiation goes through the air. It doesn't really affect it. It just radiates it to the ground. Then it heats the ground. Then when the ground sends up its heat, called conduction, that's what makes the warm air rise. That's what makes the clouds rise. And as they move further away from the Earth, it's not as hot. So they cool down and they get bigger. So the energy is transferred between the Earth's surface and the atmosphere through radiation, conduction, and convection. So this is how that these clouds are formed, and they cause them to raise up. Okay. Now, if the environment is really stable, that means the temperatures aren't changing a great deal and there's not some instability to it, we get these puffy clouds. So you can see that we don't get as many clouds. This is from 30 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius. This is 30 to 8 degrees Celsius, or 0 degrees Celsius. You can see that the temperature is changing much quicker over here on the unstable side. On the unstable side, because the temperature is changing so quickly, the clouds begin to form one below another, and this makes that big puffy look that you get at cumulus. When you have stable atmosphere and we don't have a lot of really quick changing in the temperature, you get these more flatter separated clouds, and so that's why they look different in the sky. Okay, so we have the three main types of clouds, and we do those by shape. They're the cumulus clouds, and these are our puffy clouds. They sometimes look like they're flat on the bottom and poofy at the top. They're usually not very tall, and they're separated by a lot of blue sky. See all the blue sky in there? You can see they're usually separated that way. Our stratus clouds are layered, and these clouds can cover up the sky. They look like they're covering a lot of the sky. You don't get to see as much of the blue like you do here. And then our cirrus clouds are wispy clouds, and they're made mostly of ice crystals, and they're higher up in the atmosphere. So these usually indicate fair weather. These indicate usually stormy weather or rainy weather, or we see a lot of it in the winter when we get snow. Okay, so we get puffy, layered, and wispy. That's the way we think about them: cumulus, stratus, cirrus, or cirro. That's how we think about them. puffy, layered, wispy. Now, the cloud types are by their shape. So we just talked about that, puffy, layered, and wispy, okay, and by their altitude. So down here we can get stratus and cumulus clouds down here at the bottom of the atmosphere, and our cirrus clouds are up high. Okay, so as we move up, we get out. When we're down here, we just have stratus, cumulus, and cirrus. But as we move up into our atmosphere, we then call these altostratus because they're higher up. We have altocumulus because they're further up in the atmosphere. And then when they get up here in the cirrus range, we get cirrostratus, that means they're the highest up there, and the cirrocumulus, high up there. Okay. Now, if they're producing any kind of rain, any kind of precipitation, rain or snow or hail, we call them nimbo. So if they're nimbostratus, they're that layered, covering the whole sky, producing rain. Cumulonimbus are going to be like thunder, lightning, and rain, and they're the puffy on the top. Okay. So cirrus clouds, their base is between 5,000 meters and 13,000 meters. Now, see that halo right there? That's always an indication that we are in the cirrus clouds. So if you see this halo right here, you can know that you have cirrus clouds because they are really high up in the atmosphere and they produce that halo. Now, always remember, do not look directly at the sun. Okay? So if they are just the plain cirrus, we get these wispy clouds. This is the shape. Okay. Then if they're high up in there, but they cover a lot more of the sky, they're layered, then they're cirrostratus. And if they're kind of poofy and high up in the sky, then we call them cirrocumulus. So we've got the cirrus means high, cirrostratus, and cirrocumulus. Remember, stratus means layered, cirrus means wispy, and cumulus means puffy. So if they're puffy high up, we call them cirrocumulus. If they're wispy, we call them cirrus. And if they're layered and high up, we call them cirrostratus clouds. Now, contrails can also form those clouds. And we have those three different types of contrails. We have those short-lived contrails, and the plane goes by, they're releasing some moisture, you get that little teeny jet, and you get back out in 10 minutes, it's gone. These are called short-lived. Now, the persistent ones, they can remain in an area long after the airplane's gone, but they're not spreading out. So these right here are really no wider than your pointer finger, your index finger. So they're not spreading. But these right here are persistent and spreading. And these persistent spreading clouds or contrails can create your cirrus clouds. So these are what we call human-produced clouds, cirrus clouds, because the contrails, the moisture coming from the airplane, if it's persistent and spreading, it can turn into a cloud. Okay. Now I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute, and I'm going to talk to you about one of the activities that I did. Now, I created my own little contrail page to kind of remind me. So I do have this in the presentation. I give you the little airplane. Mine aren't stickers. They're actually paper. I just put glue on the back of them. And then I made a short-lived contrails. Remember, they're there and then they're gone. You can barely see that contrail. Here we have the persistent non-spreading. It's going to be that line it's going across. Persistent spreading, this one right here, it's going to create that cloud. I show you how to create these contrails so that you can do that at home to remind you of what it should look like. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our presentation here and come on over here to our middle level clouds. Our middle level clouds, remember, are called alto, that means middle. And again, we still call stratus and cumulus based on the shape. Stratus are those middle level layered, and cumulus are your middle level puffy. Now, these are usually between the 2,000 and 7,000 meter mark, and they usually they're water clouds. So these are a little higher up, so you can see your buildings and those kind of things in the trees, but you can see that layering. And then these are higher up. They're about the size of, if you put your thumb up in the sky, they're about the size of your thumb. That's how you know that they are alto, middle level. So then we get our low-level clouds. Our low-level clouds, again, are we just call them cumulus and stratus. But if they're producing any kind of rain or snow or hail, then they would put the word on there nimbo. Okay, so nimbostratus, see how it's covering the whole sky? You can't see any of the blue. These are producing rain. These are nimbostratus. Now, cumulonimbus are the ones that are flat on the bottom and then a poofy on the top, and these can produce your thunderheads or your thunder and lightning storms. Okay, fog is also considered a low cloud. Now, if I'm trying to find out, I know that my clouds are poofy, and I want to know, are they low to the ground, are they in middle level, alto, or are they high up, cirrus? Then I use my little, what I call my fist test. Okay, so if they're really low, they're going to be about the size of your fist. If you hold your fist up and the cloud is that bigger size, then you know that it's probably just a plain old cumulus cloud. It's a low level cloud. Now, if they're higher up, then the clouds will be about the size of your thumb. And if you hold your hand up, arm's length, you put your thumb, if it's about the thumb size, then you know that these are higher up in the atmosphere, so they are alto cumulus. Now, if they're really high up and each cloud would be about your pinky finger, then you know that these are cirro, real high up in the atmosphere, so these would be cirrocumulus clouds. Sometimes they're hard to see that they're puffy, but they are. Okay, now stratus clouds, again, they're the layered clouds, and we're going to be looking for clues to figure out which kind of stratus clouds we have. So if they are the low down to the ground, they're really gray and they cover the whole sky, those are going to be our lowest level, and those are just plain stratus. If they're a little higher up and you can get like the sun or moon is veiled, kind of covered, has a darker appearance, these are going to be your alto stratus. They're higher up. Okay, so you're going to see more of the sky. Then our cirrostratus are the highest up yet. These are the ones that give you that halo around the sun or moon. And you can see all of those colors of the rainbow coming out there. So you see that halo, you know you have cirrostratus clouds. Okay, that's a giveaway. Now, I did include in here your cloud identification chart. And if you click on it, down here, it will open up and you can see that I'm trying to give you some pictures and to know where your clouds are to help you to determine what kind of clouds you're looking at. Okay, now on the next page here, if you're still struggling and you don't know what kind of clouds you have, I've given you a cloud key. Okay, so the way you can look at that, you say, is it raining? So if your answer is no, you'll just go to number 2. If your answer is yes, then you know if there's lightning and thunder, then you've got a cumulonimbus cloud. So you already know what kind it is. Okay, if it's not raining, you're going to go to number 2. Is it a high wispy cloud like a horsetail? If it is, then you know it's a cirrus cloud. If it's not, you're going to go to number 3. Okay, now number 3, is it flat and layered, puffy and bumpy, or some of both? So if it's flat and layered, you're going to go to number 4. If it's puffy and bumpy, you're going to go to number 5. If it's both of these, then you know you have a stratocumulus cloud. Okay, now this down here goes with number 1. So if it's yes, it's raining and it's thunder and lightning, you know you have cumulonimbus. Yes, it's raining, but it's just drizzling all day and it's that gray, then you know you have your nimbostratus. Okay, so if it's flat and layered, you're going to go here to number 4, and then it'll give you the idea, is it cirrus, alto, or cirrostratus, altostratus, or just plain stratus. If it was puffy and bumpy, you're going to go to number 5, and you're going to figure out if it's cirrocumulus, altocumulus, or just plain cumulus. So this will help you to determine your what kind of cloud you have. And this is called a dichotomous key, and it was created by Marshall University. Dr. Cartwright created this, and so I love it. It's really helpful, so I included it for you. Okay. Now, after you figure out what kind of clouds that you have, you've made your observation, you're going to go into Globe and you're going to set up an account. Okay. So you're going to want to become a Globe observer, a citizen scientist. And you're going to click on there and go in and create your account. Now, after you've created your account, you can't actually do your observation on the computer. You actually have to download the app, okay? So on my iPads, you're going to have to use maybe your phone. You can get the app from the Google Store or from your App Store. So I'm going to quit sharing my screen here for just a minute. And so on mine, I have my Globe Explorer. It's downloaded. And when I go in here, I'm going to make an observation. And so it's going to ask you to tell what kind of cloud that you see. You're going to log in and you're going to take pictures of the clouds and then submit them. And like I said, they're going to go to NASA so that NASA can use that information to pair with their satellite pictures so that they can they can help better predict the weather and knowing how the clouds are looking from on top of the clouds in the atmosphere and down below. So it's really you're actually being a scientist. So it's awesome that you can do that. And so I'm going to ask you to do that so that we can help NASA help us get better weather forecasts. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into my slides. And so I did link the Globe program here. This is where you go ahead and get your citizen scientist. You can just log in. It doesn't cost anything, and just log in and become a citizen scientist. Okay. Now, here are some other activities you could do. So you can make some cloud art. So here what I did is I just divided my paper into 3 sections. And I tore paper to make a cumulus cloud. I tore some paper to look like a stratus cloud. And then you can tear paper over here to make a cirrus cloud. Or you could use cotton balls and you can tear them apart and pull them together and glue them on paper to make the different types of clouds that you can see. Okay. Now, the other thing is you can make a cloudscape. Now, this one, what I did is included lots of different types of clouds in here. I didn't do all of them. But here I showed you this tall cumulonimbus cloud, and it's doing that lightning and rain. Very tall, dark on the bottom. Now, our alto cumulus are right in here. They're middle level. They're those puffy that are about the size of your thumb. Then you've got your stratus, which is that layer. This I use tissue paper. Over here I've got my my nimbostratus, which is the gray producing rain. Low-level cumulus. Over here I have my wispy cirrus clouds. And remember we talked about that halo and we knew that that was a cirrostratus cloud. I went ahead and included like I have a little picture of the sun and then some sidewalk chalk and some glitter glue to make the halo. So you can create your own cloudscape. And I tell you that these are some materials you can use: cotton balls, tissues, fiberfill, sidewalk chalk, white sidewalk glitter, markers, pipe cleaner, string glue, and be able to make sure you label the different types of clouds so that you can see all the different types. But I didn't do all of them on one because it's too many. Now, I also included, in this Cloudscape student activity sheet, this is how you can observe on paper and record. And I also gave you some really great words over here that you can use when you're talking about size. Are they small, large, heavy, light, dense, thick? Shape: patchy, fluffy, thin, thick, flat, etc. Color: white, milky, gray, silvery, mixed, black. Other features down here, you can use words like lets the sunlight through, blocks the sunlight, covers the whole sky, is in layers, is moving. And then your one-word description down here. So here you'll draw your cloud. Are they thunderclouds? Are they menacing, which is dark and threatening? Gloomy, enveloping, beautiful, streaked, foggy, bubbly, scattered. There's all kinds of great words here you can use to give a one-word description of your clouds. Now, if you want it print it out, you just click on your PDF viewer right here, and it will, you can print out this page to do your observation on, and then put it in the computer. Now, remember I showed you that make the contrail? Here are your stickers. So basically, you're just going to print this out and cut out the airplanes and glue them down on paper, which is what I did. And then to make the 3 contrails, you have to use white tempera paint. That's what I used, and water and a paintbrush. That's all you need. So for cup A, the short-lived one, you use 1/6 cup of paint and 1 cup of water. You mix it well, and then you spread it. Now, you don't need this much paint, because if you're only doing it by yourself, this is if I were going to do it with a whole class. For the persistent non-spreading, you just use the white paint only, no water. Okay? And then for the persistent spreading, you use a 1-to-3 ratio. So 1/3 cup of paint to 1 cup of water, mix well, and then you're going to draw it out. So here you can see this is what mine looked like at the beginning when I first did it, and I was waiting for them to dry. Now, you can see that when I showed you a little bit ago is after it's already, it was all dry. Okay, so here's what it looks like here when I first did it. Okay, and then there's a cloud cookery. This is a little experiment you can do to make a cloud in a jar. It's a really great experiment. And so if you click down here, you can print it out, and it tells you how to make your cloud in a jar. So I just included that as well for you to do. So lots of cool things in here to do when I do our presentations. Now, I did put in where I got all the pictures and the information for this right here. Globe is the website. I use a lot of NASA. So these are some of the credits of the things that I use today. Now, if you go onto Globe, oh, there's my cloud. If you go onto Globe here, once you sign in and get your username and password, if you want to go in to do some of these things, if you go into Elementary Globe, under Do Globe, Elementary Globe, there's all kinds of great activities. If you go over here to Clouds, all of these activities are printable. You even have some coloring pages here. This one, to spread and not to spread, tells you about the contrail activity. Cloudscape, that's the one I showed you with the blue paper. This one is really a good one. It gives you great directions. And then Cloud Fun was the very first one when we did, I just tore some paper to make the different types of clouds. And here's the storybook. So it's all right here for you. And I hope you do go out and make an observation. Please let me know if you do, so that I can see it. And because I'm on there and I'm making observations, and I would love to see you on there as well, making observations for NASA. So enjoy, and I hope you do some of those activities and have fun with it. And again, let me know if you do, so that I can keep up with you. Also, if you have any other ideas of things you would like me to present, I would be happy to do that. Just give me your ideas in the email. And again, my email is M as in Margie, Suder, S-U-D-E-R, at k12.wv.us. So I'm always liking to hear great ideas, and I always like to see what you do. So make sure you get back to me, okay? I will talk to you later. Bye.